the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
Even those buying games, they run the ball so much, I don't think it could be possible.
I don't either, off the top of my head, but I'd like to go back and look at that. Alex, was the rushing attack the biggest reason Tennessee lost in your estimation, or was it something else?
I think it's one of them. I think more just from like a feel standpoint. I thought the series after the strip sack of Stockton there in the fourth quarter and them settling for 3 on that was one of the biggest reasons. I mean, you got to go for the knockout punch, and I think the play calling there was suspect. And Heupel kind of said after the game that he would have went back and maybe changed a thing or two in that process. But you got to get a touchdown there. I mean, I just think settling for 3 in that spot, and you see how it costs you at the end. I also think Georgia was 2 for 2 on fourth down. And I think obviously that 4th and 7 at the end cannot happen. And, you know, they were 8 for 17 on third down. They just got to get off the field defensively, especially with how limited they are. But I would say those are my 2 things, just them, Georgia being able to convert fourth down and the sequence where they settle for a field goal there in the fourth quarter.
I think that's fair. What about you, Caleb?
I think the biggest thing was, I mentioned it a minute ago, that you looked like Tennessee of last year and Josh Heupel. This is it's been talked about quite a bit, but it's not been talked about in the Georgia game. Josh Heupel has a tendency to bring that foot off the gas when he builds a lead. In the second and third quarters, until you had that touchdown to Brazel, which point blank was just Brazel being a dude. It's not like we drew him open. It's just him being a dude. Tennessee was outgained 245 to 57 and outscored 20-0 for 28 and almost 28 and a half minutes of gameplay. That's just not a formula for winning football. And that's one thing. Listen, if you want to go for that kill shot, I don't agree with Heupel's play calling, but I thought we just had to get points out of that drive. You just had to score points. You couldn't leave that one blanked, especially if it meant an 8-point lead, because that's a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, which I don't have the math on that, but I know that's not a high percentage possession. And so I think at the end of that drive, they did the right thing. I don't necessarily agree with the play calling, but you also got set back by a false start, which is another Achilles heel for Tennessee, is pre-snap penalties.
10 penalties in this game. At home.
One that puts your kicker back and forced you to kick a play early. Take a timeout, by the way.
Yeah.
If you have to kick it a play early, take a timeout. And I think that's where Josh Heupel executed the worst, is on that last drive where he executed excellently. He milked every second of that clock off, did everything perfectly, made it a very makeable kick for his kicker, and then just crapped the bed in the final 7 seconds. That's where I think he really, really didn't do a good job.
Well, there's 2 parts to that. One, the 3 plays up the middle, and people have talked about, like, there was a missed block on that third down run for Bishop, and that if there's a block made, Bishop might be going for 6. And
he did get blown up by a linebacker, but I don't think he gets first down.
But either way, the problem is, so if you look at Chris Brazel, in this game, targeting Chris Brazel, good things happen. Like, that's just something that has happened all year. 24 targets this season, 20 receptions, 364 yards, 18.2 yards per reception, 5 touchdowns. Like, he was a great throw it up guy. Like, even if you're not sure, like, good things happen. And if something happened where he didn't come down with it or intercept, like, whatever, I would be willing to die. Like, hey man, you took a shot at with Brazel down the right-hand side. I mean, that's how you got back in the game last year with Dante Thornton, was just a great down the field to the right-hand side. And Dante made a play against Bama, and big reason why he won the game. I could not believe they didn't target Brazel once. I mean, Brazel was hot again. I mean, he had 3 touchdowns. He was on his way to a Jalen Hyatt type game. I wrote about this today on sportsrenaissancefan.com. Was just that, like, you go through Brazel's stats and just like everything about him. Like, Brazel nationally is off to the best start of a Tennessee receiver since Jalen Hyatt. Like, he is a like combination of Cedric Tillman and Dante Thornton. It's great. Like, Brazel is the biggest surprise to me of any Tennessee player this year. But to not put the ball in his hands or try to put the ball in his hands once to go for the kill shot. I mean, he had the game winner against Alabama last year. Like, he's a clutch player. Like, I think that's fair to go after Heupel for that. Like, man, you overthought that. You just got to have one of these calls is throwing it up down the field to Chris Brazel and see if he can make one more play for you. Because if he does, game's over. You win the game. But then on the field goal, in the moment, this is not a hindsight 2020 thing. Like, Max going back and forth and not knowing when he's going to kick, a guy who has not missed a kick since Kentucky, the logic doesn't make any sense to me because you didn't have to run the other play. You centered the ball where you wanted it. It was third down, 7 seconds. It's like, even if they get the ball back with 2 seconds, Puglisi showed he can only launch the ball, 50 yards maybe? Like he didn't get in the end zone on that play where Ty Redmond picked it off at the half. Like they can throw him out there, but I mean, they're not making a play. Like the chances of you losing on like an 85-yard Hail Mary, whatever, it's just not happening. They're going to be lateraling. It's going to be whatever. So if they have 2 seconds, whatever, you live with that. They overthought it. Like just send Max out on third down, but then to actually go back and forth and you're not sure, and then you get the penalty and then you're not going to run a play anyway. Well, it's like, no, if you got the penalty, at least run a play to try and get the yards back and center the ball. The whole thing, I just think they iced their own kicker. I will die on that hill. I think they messed Max because Max then immediately in overtime, when it's a normal situation he goes right out and makes it.
Rubbed it in. He drilled it. I mean, it was his exact same
it wasn't
kick.
weird. It wasn't a weird back and forth. And people can say it's not. I'm like, no, there's a lot of pressure. There was still a lot of pressure of Max to respond and make that. No, I'm riding with Mad Max from Memphis. I will ride that Heupel iced his own guy. Like 100%.
And so you guys had a different point of view than I did. And I've talked to people that watched on TV. How bad do you think that field goal was kicked?
Like how much did he miss it by?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, a lot.
Oh, I thought he made it from our angle.
No, he did not miss it by a lot. He pushed it off his foot. It was a miss, but no, I mean, it's one of those. I was like, it's going to have to knuckle the wrong way for a right footer, but if it knuckles, you have.
But it was at that angle because of the penalty. Like you were in a better spot and it was longer because of the penalty.
But I mean, like I heard people calling it a shank. Even like I think there was an ESPN. I think there was an ESPN guy that was just, he misses this awful. It's a terrible kick. I was like, nah, he pushed it.
No, I mean, there was a shank and we beat Alabama with the shank. Like Chase McGrath shanked the crap out of that ball and it still made it over the uprights. That's all that matters. But that was more of like
No, he just pushed it a little wide. There were people behind the field goal, which is, I mean, I know I had a good vantage point. There were people behind the field goal. I don't know if they were the smartest people in the world, but they thought it went in.
A lot of people thought
it was a good kick outside of it's like a golf shot. Like you can push it and still be like, I hit it well. It was like that.
I knew that wasn't going in. I told my wife, I was like, no chance. This is like the way we've just completely Max just like not sure when he's going in, and they kept showing him where I'm like, oh no, like Max is not sure when he's going to go kick. Like you just have to like. It's just so much. There's so much pressure, and you just have to have the routine and not like, hey, are you in? You out? And it just felt like he was pacing over there, and the time in between kicks. And I was like, this is. I hate all of this. This is all terrible. This is
right. Going back to that other drive though, I wouldn't have thrown it downfield because Kirby Smart's defenders play with. We talked about that. Rick,
they were getting cooked all game. KJ Bolden had no answers.
Yeah,
for
but
Chris
if they decide to tackle the guy there, and we get a Kirby Smart non-call. And it's an interception, we're going to be livid at the refs, but we're also going to be,
They were calling it, and Brazel is a D-hop offensive pass interference guy. He's great.
Let him play really physical. I mean, that Mike Matthews the interception that goes to him, if he fights back harder to that, he might get the call. It was like it. There's a. If someone says that's PI, I would have said okay, and not that I would necessarily would have called it because he didn't fight hard enough back for it, but like he was all over him. He let it go. I mean that. I'm not saying you, Chase, but fans riot if he throws a deep ball interception there up 5. Fans riot. Yes.
To Brazel in the game he had at that point?
Yeah. I mean, I think they should have ran our screen game for the first time in the Heupel era has been phenomenal. And then you're getting one-on-one situations based on the box. I don't know why you don't try to throw a screen there.
Yeah. You just can't run it 3 times. Like
that's my thing is don't run it 3 times.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I think we crapped the game earlier, and I think he did what he needed to do to win at that point. And proof is that we had a chance to win it at the buzzer.
Caleb, which play, moment, or call still annoys you the most a few days later from what we've talked about here?
Annoys me?
Yeah, it still annoys you the most. 2 days later.
The PI call on Andre Turrentine to start their game-winning touchdown.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas podcast. Hell yeah.